All right. Do we have a Reynor cam? Do we have a Reynor cam? People say that it works. Tip. Reynor cam works. Let's go. Why does Zoun always play from the void? I don't know. I guess he likes it. I appreciate all of you guys stopping by today. I obviously had an amazing time over the last 2 weeks being in Korea, commentating some poker, but it's always nice to be back home as well and just watch some high-level Starcraft. Get excited together, yap a little bit about all the other good things in life, have fun conversations. I appreciate you guys. Zoun did write that his camera lags. I hope it's going to be okay throughout the series. Hey, rematch. I'm sure some of you guys watched the entire best of 5 of Reynor Zoun from the RSL. I believe it was Reynor taking the 1-0 lead, Zoun taking the 2-1 lead, Reynor winning game 4, looking good in game 5, but not quite able to capitalize. Or maybe it didn't look that good, but I thought it was doing okay. I thought his defense against the Adepts was solid. Let's see if today has a different outcome, or if Zoun once more will get the best of Reynor. Reynor, of course, got the best of Zoun in that EWC best of 5. I do remember that one very well. With that potential Zealot all-in on... Was it Last Fantasy? Is that the name of the map? The 3-player map. And then Zoun changing his mind, feeling that it wasn't going to work. And obviously at that point, Reynor just having basically a blank check to make a lot of roaches, send them to the other side. And when you just have a few Zealots to fight 200 supply of Roach Queen, you're gonna have a very tough time. I still think it would have been better for Zoun if he would have just sent it initially. Even if he doesn't kill Reynor, I think at least you get a bit of a trade. You maybe kill some drones, you kill some queens, you might scare Reynor a little bit as Reynor wants to drone up, and then you have a completely different game. If you cut all those corners to gear up for the big Zealot attack, and then you don't make that big Zealot attack, I feel like it just never goes well. Serious prediction about the upcoming match. Of course, I'm gonna pick Reynor, mate. I'd never pick against Reynor, so I'll go Reynor 3-1. I think our boy's fired up. Maybe he's fuming a little bit over that RSL series, so I'll go with Reynor 3-1. Something is wrong with my activity thingy, but it is fixed now. Let's do it. Hello, Kipster. You guys can hear the countdown. Game 1 is played on West. Map 1 will be Pylon. The winner of this best of 5 will play against Serral in give or take 2 hours after Classic versus Clem. And of course after this one. We are more than halfway through. The previous best of 5 didn't even really feel like much of a best of 5. Let's hope that this one has a lot more excitement for us.
Let's get it on.
Round 1. Fight!
Bottom right side, representing Vitality. We are looking at the main base of the Korean Protoss, who did get the best of his opponent in the RSL just a couple days ago. It's Zoun. I do like the Vitality logo, by the way. I'm not the biggest fan of their jerseys or their sweatpants, because they're sponsored by this brand called Hummel or something like that. I really don't like Hummel. I don't know why, it's just that brand never really looks that appealing to me. But I do like their logo. Top left side, we are looking at the main base of our Italian stallion representing BASILISK, as we have a tiny pause, but I will continue. It is Reynor. Zoun already wrote in the lobby that he was a bit unhappy with the camera. Hammo is super big in Denmark. Yeah, I have no real reason to dislike it, mate. It's not that I ever bought stuff that I wasn't happy with. It's just like, if I look at the Adidas logo, I think it's cool, and most of their stuff looks nice. And I think Puma is cool, I think Nike is cool, but I think Under Armour is pretty cool. I think Castor is quite cool, but Hummel just doesn't do it for me. Seems like Zoun is really trying to get out of this camera thing. Yeah, he could maybe lower the bitrate. Pig is saying. That might have something to do with his P38. I don't know, but Hummel. I like Adidas. I think Adidas is very cool. I have Adidas shoes at the moment. 2 pair even. I've got the orange ones that I think you guys have seen a few times. And I've got the other one that's a little bit bland, but I don't know. I like it. And I think most of the football jerseys of Adidas look very cool. There's another brand that's popular among a lot of Dutch teams right now, Joma. I think Lazio is sponsored by them as well. I also think that brand is lame. I don't know why I'm a hater, but I just don't like those. Like legit, if Feyenoord is ever sponsored by either of those 2 companies, I'm not buying a jersey. I'll wait until we get something else. I think it's Joma. I think that's how you write it. Yeah, it's not for me. I'm sure I've seen it, Mesachobo, but I don't remember Bremen being sponsored by them. But yeah, I'm just not a fan. In before Basilisk is a week away from closing the deal with Hummel, and I have to delete this VOD real quick. That'd be bad. Roddy in trouble. I haven't heard anything about it, so I think we're good. Getting a DM from my boss here, like, so. Ay. I'm not one to panic often, but I would panic a little bit at that point. I'd be sweating, guys. You know, just because you have an opinion now doesn't mean it can change in the future. You know what I mean?
Game resumed.
Alright, guys. We're back. Island, round 1. Reynor, Zoun. Let's hope it's all good. And let's hope we have a best of 5. It's a little weird, Lacey. Let's not make it too weird today, guys. We're having a fun Saturday. At this pace, by the way, there is a chance that I actually get to watch a little bit of Feyenoord tonight, which would also make me happy. But if I have to put it on my phone while watching Starcraft, I'm also happy. We should visit the Basilisk Discord. If we ever get like a clothing company, I really hope it's Adidas. I think Adidas is sick. Maybe Nike would be a tiny bit more likely because it's North American. I feel like Nike is not that active in esports. I very rarely see anything from Nike in esports. Maybe they should, since their stock hasn't been performing all that hot over the last few years. We can save you, Nike. Not a lot of running in esports. Wow. Lots of running in PUBG. Street Fighter, they run a little. Marines are running all over the place. Yeah, I think we can somehow make it work. Zoun is going to open things up with a Twilight Council. That does make me happy, because PvZ is a super fun matchup to watch, but if every single game opens up with like a couple of adepts into a few oracles, it almost feels like the first 4 or 5 minutes is not that exciting. When we're opening things up with the Twilight Council, things are a little different. Reynor, his Overlord, is deep into the main base of Zoun, and Reynor is going to get the scout that he's looking for. This is very nice. Okay. Now we need to make sure that we're not going to take any damage. Even a single adept can obviously become annoying. Resonating Glaive. You guys were already memeing about it in the chat earlier. Reynor probably thinking, here we go again. Most certainly, here we go again. I mean, Doggy Bobo, that's something that I spoke about many times in the past, but it feels like there were so many, I'm sure you guys would agree, missed opportunities when it comes to, you know, StarCraft and monetizing stuff. Like, of course, there should have been a possibility to get like EG Marines or Team Liquid Marines, but imagine like cool brands like Ferrari or Red Bull, and you can turn like Hellions with a little Ferrari skin. Like, who in his right mind wouldn't spend $3 or $4 to get Ferrari Hellions? I know I would. Immediately, on every single account. It feels like there'd be so many cool things they could have done with Starcraft. It's really a shame that like maybe we were a tiny bit too early for some of the stuff, but the Red Bull Cyclone, I feel like the possibilities are endless. Or like, you know, Hellions like Transformers, so you get like the yellow Camaro, and then when they transform into a Hellbat. This best of 5 was brought to you by Megan Fox. Make sure to keep an eye on her in the latest edition of Transformers. Hello, babe. Now Vicky comes back, guys. Maybe I'll have a tiny snack after game 1. The moment I join the lobby of game 2, I'm just gonna eat real quick. I don't want to eat right when the depths are shading to the other side of the map, but once game 1 is over, I'll take a tiny dinner break. Of course, I'll make sure to hop into game 2. Reynor currently working with 19 links, 4 roaches, and a Ravager. We got a couple of queens as well. It feels like the unit spread is good. This right now is starting off a tiny bit similar to the game of ley lines. Game 5 of the RSL best of 5. Where, in my mind, I thought Reynor was doing a lot of things right. I like this unit choice. I like the amount of units. I like the positioning. And in the end, we couldn't win it. The second he mentions Megan Fox, Vicky appears. It's okay, Vicky will not get angry. She's actually not the biggest Megan Fox fan. He's smiling. Probably very confused. What did I stumble upon? My man said he was going to be busy covering Starcraft for 8 hours, yet here she is, walks inside, and we're discussing Megan Fox. He's a liar! Babe, I can explain, I promise. We were talking about Hellions, I swear. Couple of Immortals have been produced on the side of Zoun. 19 Adepts, 2 Immortals, gateway count goes up to 8. Reynor is going to get a safety spine. It's going to take a little while before we get the roach speed. It's never easy. I still believe that Reynor has done almost everything right. Then again, Zoun is also not really committed yet. Ooh, that supply block a bit annoying, but we are about to take care of it. And the beauty of the gates. I really wouldn't hate like one more spine in the natural, just to make our life a little bit easier. No way this works right. I don't think it should work, but the power of Protoss is not to be underestimated. That shade is going to finish up. It comes down to the target fire of the Immortals. The links are coming in from different angles, but that spine helping out from the left side is big. One Immortal falls. That is massive for Reynor. Second Immortal falls as well. No way this works, mate. No freaking way this works. No. That was perfect on Reynor's side. Yeah. 6 minutes and 55 seconds in. Zoun is also in agreement that, yeah, this is just not going to work. Strong first game by Reynor. It helps us so much as a Zerg. I think when your Overlord spots that Twilight Council almost immediately, you just make your life so much easier. It knows, you know exactly when you have to stop droning, crank out first a nice 12 links, then make a couple safety roaches, sneak out a few more drones. Like Reynor even had a 4th base on the way there. Reynor had a lair, a 14 worker lead, and a 4th base. And he held convincingly. And now someone is thinking, and that's why you see people open up Stargate every game, Roddy. I know, guys, I know. To be fair, I don't think we have to go for the 2 base Adept Immortal all-in. I guess I could eat more quickly. Alright guys, I'm just gonna hop in. I'll be back in like 1 minute. I'm just gonna go ahead and eat a burger real quick. I'll make sure that the camera will follow someone. And I'll try to be back by the time the first Oracle is out. Let's fix the scoreboard quickly. Alright guys, bottom left side, Persephone, top left side, Reynor. I'll be right back in 90 seconds. Alright. Proxy. Yeah, I had the French fries as well. I mean, I think everybody would agree that if you let French fries sit around for a little while, they just become really bad. So. I am done and I'm good to go for the rest of the day. So double Oracle, that was proxied, but still only a single drone. Did Reynor see the Stargate, guys, before that first Oracle showed up? Because if Reynor didn't see the Stargate and he somehow only lost one drone, that is incredibly impressive. Isn't it 2-0 for Reynor? No, this is game 2. We did not miss an entire game. Island was map 1, this is game 2. We did lose a couple of drones to the adepts there on the right side. Obviously the downside of proxying a Stargate, and it's something that has come into play many times in the past, is that most of the time it will get unpowered, you end up losing it. And it actually makes you quite a bit more vulnerable to Mudas. Now, I don't know if Reynor wants to play Mudas on Persephone, but it is something to keep an eye on. Reynor's going up to 4 bases. Got the lair halfway done. +1 missile attacks is going to get fired up as well. I feel like in the past, Reynor seems to lean heavily towards the lurker play. So we have a pause. Just when I'm back, there is a pause. I think Reynor is quite fond of lurkers on this map. And there is a good chance that we'll just go roaches into hydras into lurkers. I know that he's very respectful of Zoun's late game ability. But it does not mean that he's afraid of it. Scary how fast you can inhale food. Also very hungry in my defense, Alex. I did not eat anything today. I woke up and I woke up way too late. So I had to run to my computer immediately, set everything up for the race. Did the entire race. And basically by the time that I was racing, I had to set everything up for the Starcraft event. And I didn't have any of the graphics, the overlay, the sponsor stuff. So it took all a little while. Most days, like in the morning, we'll have some toast or a sandwich. I have all the time in the world. Today was just a bit busy, but it's good to be busy. It just means that I had stuff to get excited over. You guys can see we have officially lost the camera of Zoun. It is what it is. Thank you, Hatfield, the downstroke for the 54 months. That is a long time. I appreciate it. Closing in on 5 years.
Game resumed.
Gamer. I'd really love it if Reynor would somehow go for Spire. Even if Mudas is not exactly a free win against a bunch of Stalkers with +1 on the way. Maybe even High Templars in the near future, but not having to worry about any Phoenix just makes it so much more tempting. It's not going to be it though, as we dropped an infestation pit immediately. Reynor's still working on the Stargate. The Zoun seems to be perfectly fine, just chilling on 3 bases for a little while. It's not going to be supply blocked anytime soon. Once in a while you'll see Swarm Host on this map, but Reynor is just not much of a Swarm Host believer. So whenever Reynor drops in a quick infestation pit, I think it's a lot more likely that he just wants to go quick hive. There's a couple of the roaches are here. Maybe kill that Stalker. It's not quite going to work out. Would have obviously been very nice for Reynor to sneak a couple links into the natural, split them off into the main base immediately. Yeah, you can stab it in. We've got a soda too, guys. I'm living my best life over here. Transition, yeah, that's one thing that I didn't mention. Maybe that's actually a lot more relevant in this day and age. Is that if you proxy the Stargate and you lose the Stargate, you cannot rebuild an Oracle that you lost. But that's not what I want to say. It makes it a lot harder later on to drop the Fleet Beacon and then drop 2 extra Stargates and slowly transition into what I assume would be Tempest. Even though you still see some carriers. I'm not a carrier believer. Honestly, I don't think Zoun overall is very happy with that original investment. Definitely did not get the drone damage he was looking for. Now ended up losing one of his oracles as well. Was not able to slow Reynor down. Reynor's is looking really good. It's only 8 minutes into game 2 of a best of 5, but Reynor is looking sharp. Hive is done. I would not want to be Zoun right now. I mean, I would like to be Zoun because I'd be a whole lot better in Starcraft. But in this particular game, I would not like to be Zoun. Watching since 2012. That's like 10 years. I met a few people over in Korea that were StarCraft 2 fans from the past. And they all said very nice things. Even one of the influencers that I met, where I was the fan, he said he used to play StarCraft all the time. Which made me smile. I didn't ask him more about it, but I thought it was cool. Reynor activates a couple of the stasis trappies, all 3 of them activated. And that means that the doors might be open for these lurkers. I mean, Zoun has invested so much in that fleet beacon, in those extra Stargates. It's going to take a little while before the Tempest are out. If Reynor can truly send it with a few extra units, this is obviously not a maxed out Zerg army. We've got a few units at home defending against the Zealot run by. This is going to be real difficult for Zoun. Yes, there is Storm. Yes, the Tempest count is starting to rise up a little bit. One Tempest. Oh, Reynor misclicked. He was shooting at the gateway, actually. That's the last thing you want to be shooting at. Shooting at the Tempest, though, would be perfectly fine. Can he kill with Tempest? He gets real close, cannot kill it. But the lurker count is getting up there. This is difficult for Stalkers to run into. I think Zoun wants at least 4 Tempests to properly start gunning down the Hydras. He's going to go for it. He's had enough. He will go for it. Lurkers are a bit exposed. Blinks forward. Eats a couple of very big lurker shots to the face. But Zoun will get the cleanup. Well done. I don't want to say he made it look easy, but in the end I went a lot better than I thought it would. Reynor did have a lot of supply at home, though. It really did not feel at any given moment to me that I was looking at a maxed out Reynor. We're now going to try to get some of these additional Hive tech upgrades. Gotta say, after that one painful game over in Bulgaria, Reynor hasn't really forgotten about Adrenal Glands in a little while. Zoun is trying to keep Reynor honest with a few Zealots. Sometimes even if you get nothing done, just showing your opponent that you have a couple Zealots in the top right side is nice, because you give them something to worry about, and the moment they worry about it, they might respect it, send a few more units at home than they should. So I actually kind of like what Zoun is doing here. Even if it looks incredibly insignificant, it's just like, hey, I've got Zealots, and all these seconds that go by are seconds where the Tempest count starts rising. They should make a game out of that, guys. Tempest count rising. Make a great campaign, make it look a little bit like Command & Conquer and Red Alert. It'd be amazing. I see a hole in the market. And the Nidus network on the production tab as well. Taking a look at the main base of Zoun. Okay, that's gonna be difficult. Nothing is impossible if you believe in it. Reynor clearly wants to stay active, but it does feel that running into Zoun is going to be a whole lot more difficult now than it maybe was a while ago. Zoun apparently doesn't even feel like he needs these Stalkers anymore right before +3 is done. Might be able to get a cancel actually, as Reynor is pretty far out of position. Stalkers against, oh, Hydra dash, the Zerglings, Hydras, oh, what a save. What a save by Reynor. Even if those Stalkers had +3, the Hydras and the Lynx showed up in time. Now it is important to keep in mind that this hatch is very low, so it can still get sniped later on by just a couple Zealots, but it always feels good to book a little mental victory like that. I think the first Nidus is a defensive one. can be used in a way that Serral used to use the Nidus networks quite often in split map scenarios against the Terrans, where you can just hop all your drones inside of the Nidus and send them elsewhere. Down and thought he could just finish the job casually with a couple of zealots, but Reynor is aware of it. Units lost resource tab shows us Reynor lost quite a bit more. It's not that meaningful because Reynor is rich and there is so much money left that I don't think there's any reason to... Oh my god, 14 overlords, guys. I saw 7 and I was gonna mention it. 14 overlords. So is Reynor gonna fly in there with lots and lots and lots of overseers to hope that they absorb a couple of the Tempest shots? And obviously make sure we never run out of any detection. Tempest Rising has too many units. I have never played it, mate. I did see Zombie Grub stream it a little bit and I stuck around for a little while. I thought it was a beautiful game. It's just that I am not much of a campaign player. I'm not interested in Stormgate campaigns. I'm not interested in Tempest Rising, but it did look cool. Maybe one day if I have something to celebrate and I can just lean back and I want to give it a shot, I will give it a shot. Zoun does finally get the hatchery that he's been dreaming of. As Reynor is getting ready to put those 14 overseers to good use. That is a storm. That was a storm, alright. Don't ask. Sometimes it's best if you just don't ask about it. You're just like, you know what, Zoun, if you want to storm there, you can storm. I shall not question you. Energy recharge being used on one of the High Templars, dropping a few extra storms, slowly softening up the lurkers, but it's hard for a single High Templar to kill lurkers. This is where it would really work out well to maybe keep at least a few support units with a High Templar. Reynor has a Nidus, double Nidus attempt in the natural, couple Zealots doing their best, and Zealots will take care of it. Current Corruptor count is 12, guys. We have more Overseers than we have Corruptors. Corruptor upgrades are not incredibly sexy either, as we are working on +1 armor and +2 attack. 11 freaking Tempests. 11 Tempests as the Lurkers and the Lynx are able to at least do very good when it comes to the ground department. More pressure being applied and Zoun is going to respect it. Really does not want to lose this base. This is important to him. And it does buy Reynor some time to get a few more Corruptors out, which I think is mandatory. We just did not quite have the Corruptor count that we need to win a fight like that. It is late game, but it's not the ultra late game yet. Still plenty of bases that have never been mined from. It is a terrifying army. I'm not saying that we should play Vipers here, guys, with the idea of abducting one Tempest at a time. But I truly have a hard time believing that dropping a Parabomb or two in the all-out war is not worth it. Like, Parabombs will deal a lot of damage, even against high HP units like Tempest. I'm still a Reynor believer. You guys are allowed to be worried, but I'm a Reynor believer. I'm gonna get a few extra Infestors, eventually we get a Viper, we drop a Parabomb. And we wipe the floor with that little Protoss army. What Protoss army? I don't even see a Protoss army. All I see is that Tempest. Am I right, guys? Zoun forgot about his Oracle. As Reynor says, ciao Bella. I don't know why he would say that, but he did. I actually get pretty triggered by a lot of changelings if I have an army like Mothership and a Tempest. Because it just feels very clunky to take care of those changelings. Even Stalkers is annoying. It's a lot of cannons, but it's also a lot of Zerglings with cross, 3 melee and adrenal glands. Lings that deal this much damage most of the time don't care about a couple cannons. Now this was not a couple, this was a solid like 15, but even then the Lings really didn't do all that bad. Reynor gets another Nidus, potentially at the bottom right side this time. Alright. I'm starting to feel like this is indeed gonna go a proper late game. A little DT, no Overseer around. Can you believe it? 17 Overseers, but not a single one near the Lurkers. Can we surround the Archons? Maybe we could. Fungals have landed. The Reynor does not want to jump on the army. I love the multitasking by Reynor, as he keeps on applying a lot of pressure on the right side. A couple of DTs blink forward, but there is an Overseer in the mix this time, so that's actually kind of expensive on the side of Zoun. Zoun is casually making 3 more Stargates. Cannon's busy attacking a probe. Would have been a good moment for the Lynx to just go for it. How many freaking cannons do we have? 33! And 12 shield batteries as well. Absolutely disgusting amount of static defenses. Yeah, I know. I know it was low. I think it's because my game sound is a bit louder than it normally is, so I lowered everything else. I know it was low. But we still heard it. Isn't that all that matters? By the time I wanted to increase the volume, it was no longer 33, so it was the wrong moment. Alright, 21 minutes into Persephone. Reynor has got 9 Broodlords, 17 Corruptus, 10 Lurkers, 8 Infestus. And Zoun is moving a very big blob around. Of a lot of Archons, Plasma Shields +3 I assume, yep. Yeah. Tough to win a fight here. Fungal! Little Fungal, a couple of feedbacks land as well. Reynor not quite able to get a whole lot. Couple storms landing on the Lurkers in the bottom left side. High Templar doing its best. Yeah, that's a bit of an unfair fight. Reynor's honestly feels to me like finding pretty good trades. But he has still lost 6,000 resources more. That's a big fungal this time around, and this might be the moment that the Corrupted and the Overseers are gonna go for it, but there are so many Archons on the ground. We're gonna use a couple of Neuroparasites as well, but it's Reynor's supply that's plummeting first. The Viper shows up, but it's a little late, no energy. How good is Neuro? How much damage can we do? We could use a couple Lurkers at home. I don't know if we still have Lurkers somewhere. A few of the Tempests have survived. The Mothership has survived. The Protoss army has a lot of HP. 6 Tempests in production. Reynor is finding good success here with the Lurkers on the left side, but we kind of have a big ass Protoss army to worry about. And Zoun is now reinforcing with a couple Stalkers. Zeeblings forward. All the Broodlords have died as well. Is there even a world, guys, where Reynor cleans this up? Or... I mean, we have so much money. Okay, that was a good fight for the Lynx, at least for a little moment. Zoun lost a base. Reynor has lost 2 bases. Reynor is going to use some production facilities as well. Losing the Hydra then definitely does sting. We need those Lurkers, Reynor. We really need those Lurkers. Right about now. we're gonna go for it. Here we go. Storm's land. I see a blinding cloud in the midst of all of that too. Mothership is finally dead. The final Tempest will fall. There are not that many Zerg units remaining on the ground. Reynor is forced to tap out of the game with 9,200 minerals and 3,000 gas. 2 upgrades. And we are still forced to leave. It just felt that we had no damage to kill these Archons. +3 attack, +3 plasma shields. Archons just live forever. Broodlords obviously have lost a little bit of their oomph that they once upon a time had. The Neuroparasite is very cute, but no larva. I mean, he lost 2 bases there, but even if he has larva, he can't build any Hydras anymore. And he's probably out of larva at that point because, yeah, he's been making units for a while. I think he's just, at that point, he just probably feels like he's dead. Like, if you lose the Hydra then, what could he really make? Like, Muras are not going to do it against 3/3/3 Archons. Lings alone, like, he would maybe show up with 30, 40 extra Lings, but that would not be enough either. Are you still on the Red Bulls? Do you mean racing? Of course. I will always root for a Red Bull until Max leaves. Then I'm out of there. Yeah. Reynor says he's going to turn the camera off as well, as he feels that if Zoun turns it off, he wants to turn it off. Which I guess is fair. Ultras would have been... We didn't really get to see Ultras. I do like Ultras. I think the biggest... I don't think Reynor's fight was that bad. I just think we had a lot of supply on the bottom left side. And obviously that is all supply that you're missing in the straight up fight. That fight probably looks a little different with a bunch of lurkers. But it also takes lurkers a long time to kill 3/3 Archons. But it did feel that the Archons were kind of stuck. And, you know, a lot of the Tempest did die. I think it's a real missed opportunity that we made one Viper so late that it had no energy, because the Tempest die so much quicker. If you Fungal them, you dive them, you Parabomb them, they actually die a lot quicker, right? Oh well. Persephone things, guys. Zoun is ready, Reynor is ready, we're all tied up. No trios this time around, no player cameras anymore either. I'll take a very tiny break and then I'll be back with Game 3. But it's annoying that the camera does that. You never know. I mean, you could have seen now. Don't tell me that you don't know. Can't you see? No, I was just washing my hands and taking a tiny break. Bottom right side, guys, of Incorporeal. We are looking at the main base of the Italian Stallion. Could not get it done in the late game on Persephone. Forced to leave that game with a lot of money in the bank. It is BASILISK Reynor. Top left side of Incorporeal, we are looking at the main base of our Korean Protoss, who got a 3-2 victory just the other day in the RSL. It's Zoun. He's alive? You mean me? Alive and kicking, mate. Like, sometimes I feel like these cups are leaking a little bit, and I really don't like touching my mouse if I feel like I have Coke on my hands. Or Dr. Pepper, whatever I got. Doesn't taste like Dr. Pepper, so I assume it's Coke. And it's definitely not Fanta. It's got the wrong color for that. We're getting to the bottom of this, guys. Could be Pepsi. No more Twilight Forest for Zoun. After looking at how that first game played out, comparing it to the second game, where our start wasn't even all that hot, but we still got exactly where we want to be. I'm afraid that was the last Twilight Forest we've seen. Now, root beer is not even an option. No, it's not an option here. Root beer never got popular in Europe. I'm sure that you can get it somewhere, like some special places, but if I go to the local supermarket, I cannot get root beer. And they won't give it to you at the Burger King. Well, that's a decent amount of links for Reynor, by the way. What does Reynor have in mind with those Zerglings? That's a lot of links for Reynor. What are we cooking here, guys? $20 Zerglings this early. I assume at the bare minimum we are looking for a cancel on the Nexus, but perhaps he's like, you know what? Zoun is just gonna see all of this. Okay, he hasn't seen it yet, but I'm not sure what Reynor is gonna get done here. With the Adepts at home and the Oracle at home, I'm afraid that this early investment of all these Zerglings is not going to pay off for Reynor. It's not even so much about Zoun killing drones, it's more about Zoun just not being forced to cancel his Nexus, and he's going to be very happy. Early game clearly not quite going to the perfect dream scenario for our boy. There's a lot of Starcraft left to be played. Zoun is gonna follow his opening up with Blink. At this point the Adept count, even without Resonating Glaives, it's pretty high. Reynor is gonna go down the route of +1 melee. A long time ago, I don't know if that's still a thing, but I know that root beer was an option in Subway. When I was 20, I really wanted to get a beer in New York, but they didn't want to serve it to me. And then I saw that root beer was an option. And I thought I was very secretive, and I was so excited to get a root beer from the soda machine. Only to realize that root beer is not actually beer. I was very disappointed. I was like, I don't even like this. Hey, don't blame me, I didn't know. The Adepts will shade back and they're gonna make their way back towards the battery. Reynor, his work account is just not where I think he wants it to be. Now, one good fight, one sexy surround with Zerglings with +1 melee, and we can obviously completely reset this early game. But I'd be lying if I was telling you guys that 6 minutes in, I'm very fond of Reynor's position. Well, default, I actually had that once in Moscow, mate. When I went to Moscow in the year 2006, I was just getting beer from the fountain. I was like, this is sick. Best McDonald's I've ever seen, baby. It is crazy, but it was happening. You can just start partying in the McDonald's. It's like infinite amount of burgers. Just bring a speaker. You just sit in McDonald's all night long. 11 Hydras on the way for Reynor, as he's on 86 drones at this point. Finally, I think his drone count is really where he would like it to be. There is a chance that Reynor will just keep on sending it with Hydra Ling, and then I want to say Banelings. We don't have Baneling speed yet, but we do have a Baneling nest. Reynor gets a very quick cancel on the 4th. Oh, he's looking at High Templars and he wants it, but he's not quite going to get it. It's a lot of that Zerglings. 6 High Templars out on the map. Hopefully we can use energy recharge. There's still a lot of storm left here. I'm a bit worried, guys. Yes, the supply looks very promising for Reynor, but attacking into cannons, into stasis traps, and into 6 High Templars is never going to be easy. That doesn't mean that we're not going to try. We are absolutely going to try, but I just don't see how we take a good fight here, especially not because either we forgot Baneling speed or it's just a little too late. I think Reynor just kind of forgot about it at first, then fired it up. Now every second that you wait, it feels like you have to worry about another storm. And another one. And with 2 oracles remaining, plenty of stasis traps. I almost wish that we would go, I don't know. Going up ramps against storm is hard. This will be difficult. Reynor hoping Zoun does something silly with his High Templars. Maybe the Banelings can connect. Well, actually, the stasis traps is not that bad there, because that means that Banelings something else to worry about later. More Banelings connecting with High Templars. Not a lot of Stalkers remaining, not a lot of Archons remaining either. Reynor has somehow found a way to sort of make this work. We do have a couple of extra storms landing, but the Hydra count is still quite high. Immortal shows up. I cannot imagine if Reynor cannot get on top of these probes and start killing some of them. Maybe kill the Oracle, that would be nice. We do kill the Oracle. Banelings! In 6, Pylon dies as well. Warp in denies. Immortal is in danger, does still live. As good as it was ever going to be for Reynor. This was legitimately as good as it was ever going to be. Beautiful spread on the units. Did a really good job in triggering the stasis traps at the right moments. Would love to unpower the shield batteries, but there is not that much energy left anyway. Reynor is going to go for it. No energy recharge available for that High Templars. We just used it not too long ago. Immortal falls. Stalkers are falling. +1 melee Zerglings. +1 Hydras as well. We'll do it. Man, that's impressive. Really, really impressive that Reynor managed to make this work. So many cannons. A lot of High Templars. But this stasis trap is actually so nice. Having lack of cannons at this point here after they all died. Just kind of felt that Zoun didn't really have any true DPS anymore after he used a couple of those initial storms. Well done. Very, very, very well done by Reynor. I just left that game, but I forgot about the fact that we actually always take a break after 3 games. He is going to be happy with the outcome of that one. No more Hive. No more Infestors. 10k banks. Just old school. Elaser style Hydra Link Bane. Maybe Zoun just felt that he was absolutely bulletproof there, and there's no way that you run into that many cannons, that many batteries, stasis traps, and storms. The macro was stacking a little. Zoun was already transitioning, right, with the fleet beacon and the extra Stargate, so that's obviously a lot of money that he spent that doesn't quite come into play there. I'm still impressed. Despite everything and all those things that we can always talk about, I'm still impressed that Reynor made that work. I just noticed the Minnesota shirt, go Wolves. This season, mate, I'm all about those Wolves. Just so I can make Todd happy. If Todd gets so happy from the Minnesota Timberwolves, I will gladly cheer alongside him. I don't think I'll stay up too often till 3 or 4 a.m. to watch the Minnesota Timberwolves play, but for Todd, I'll be a fan. You guys know the drill. There's always a tiny break after the 3rd game in the series. If it is 2-1, Bonka has announced the break, so I guess the players will take a tiny break too. I'll head over to the restroom and I'll see you guys soon for game 4. Reynor on match point. If Reynor wins, we get a Reynor Serral best of 5 later tonight. We've got 2 more series coming up. The next one will be upper bracket round 2, Classic versus Clem, and after that, a Serral will fight the winner of this best of 5. Let's do it. Game 4.
Round 4. Fight.
The bottom left side of Tokamak. We are looking at the main base of the man who's out for revenge. He got sent to the lower bracket in the RSL. Can we set the record straight and get ready for a rematch with our teammate? It is BASILISK Reynor. It's looking good so far. Impressive victory there in game 3. Still impressed that he managed to break this man in the top right side of Tokamak. Probably a little confused about that one too, even though he could have done things better, spent his money in a different manner, but regardless, I don't think he expected to die there. This is Vitality, the Zoun. Shout out to the most evil llama for those 49 months. Alive and kicking this Roddy, mate. In this busy month of Starcraft. Lots of Starcraft to look forward to till the end of the year. Announcement after announcement. We're going to Philadelphia. We're going to Canada. Starcraft everywhere. Only the Europeans probably feel a little bit lonely, but we can attend the Maestros of the game. It's not that hard for me to get to Paris. It is mentally very difficult because it means that I have to commit to going to Paris. One of my least favorite cities on the planet. Literally ranked below Krefeld, which is impressive. And also that would mean that I cannot cast it, which would be a bit sad. What is happening in Canada? Bruno's event, known from the Urza Brawl. They have made an announcement where there will be some offline qualifiers leading into an offline event. You can find all the information on Team Liquid. Maybe somebody has the link on hand. In Philly, they're gonna do so SC Historian just made a big post over on Team Liquid where they have announced a StarCraft 2 festival. I don't know if it's combined with Philadelphia or whatnot, but I know Artosis is going to be there. It is going to be like 60% StarCraft 2, 30% Brood War, and 10% StarCraft 64. Basically just one big celebration of StarCraft. Am I going to Philly? No, it's very unlikely that I will go. Because that is right after Vegas, and there's no way that I'm flying to Vegas and then a week later I also fly to Philly. That's a bit much. My old body cannot handle that. But there's a good chance that I'll be covering the games from home. As the historian already reached out to me and he said he would love it if I could cover some of the games. And obviously I love covering the games. I do like Copenhagen, Neymar. I've been to Denmark a couple times in my life. Spent very little time in Copenhagen, but I just like Denmark overall. Denmark's just a great country. Really can't hate on it. My favorite city is Aarhus though, because that is where I lifted my one trophy. You'll never forget your first, guys. And for me, it was my first and my only. Aarhus in the year 2006. I showed those gamers what is up. If I would ever have a good reason to go to Copenhagen or honestly anywhere in Denmark, I absolutely will. I think very highly. Honestly, of Sweden and Finland as well. And Norway has also been good to me, but I think Denmark is my favorite. So I'm keeping a close eye on those links of Reynor. Reynor obviously made a lot of links early on last game, and he wasn't able to get a lot done. What he did do, though, like indirectly, is that he kept the oracles at home. And keeping the oracles at home obviously means that you're not going to take any damage. But you also already dealt some damage to yourself by making so many links in the first place. You was this in Copenhagen and you're obsessed? The squid? The squid went to Copenhagen? What did you do there, mate? Copenhagen and Mallorca. Those two places don't have a lot in common, but... Ooh, one Oracle is very close to dying. Does not quite die. I've never been to Mallorca. I've been to Spain quite a few times in my life, but I have never gone to Ibiza, as they say, or Mallorca. But I did go to Valencia many times for Starcraft, and that was awesome. I went to Bilbao once to win a qualifier. The qualifiers were not region locked, so anybody could go. So I looked around and I was like, alright, which qualifier is easy? And that was before Lucifron and Vortex became good. I was like, the one in Spain looks pretty easy. So I just went to Spain, won a Code 5 qualifier against some Spanish plebs. It was great. Very fun memory. Thank you to Always Luscious for the 20 months. Cheers to you as well, amigo. Reynor is building a lot of roaches. +1 missile attacks is on the way. Extra queens are on the way. Is there a chance we fire up Overlord speed? No. No Overlord speed. I mean, I think it's very safe to be shit-talking Paros, guys. All the Frenchies are currently watching Comeback TV anyway, so we can all let go and tell the world how we truly feel about Paris. Holy fuck, it sucks, am I right? Lagadi Nor. Fucking hell. Keep it between us. It's alright. I love Funka, Coca, TKL, but they all know how I feel about Paris. They love it. They're always like, come on, it's not that bad. How can you say that? I was like, it is that bad, guys. I'm sorry. It's really... No, Todd does not like Paris at all. Todd actually is from the southern parts of France. He's from a tiny village, but it's near Marseille. And Todd is not a French lover. I don't think that Todd loves France overall. Like, he hasn't been there in like 20 years. As Zoun, his oracle, was very deep into enemy territory. And it did get picked up. That's bad news, by the way, because he's going to need any Stargate unit he can get his hands on. I feel like the last time that Todd actually lived in France was like 20 years ago or something. He lives in Vienna these days, in case you guys don't know. But he honestly spends more time in Vegas than Vienna. Our Todd loves poker. Lots of overlords here. Reynor is gonna drop all the creeps. So it's roaches, ravages, queens. Honestly, attacking the fourth and then the natural might even be slightly more appealing than running into the third base. Those are solid. They're probably not very healthy, Josh, but they are solid. Reynor is gonna activate one of the stasis traps immediately. Activates another one. Lots of surface area to work with here on these stalkers. But all the High Templars of Zoun are still safe. Over 1,000 minerals again in the bank for Zoun. He really needs to start spending that money. That's a good storm. He does have storm for days at the moment. Reynor may be maxed out, but Zoun's got storm for days. Ravages are trying to gun some High Templars down. They get one of them. Reynor needs more, and he knows it. Big storm's landing. Ravages are very chunky boys. Kind of hard to miss a storm on them. Also hard to storm a lot of them at once. It's close. Honestly, it doesn't look too bad for Zoun, even though the supply makes it look like he's in all sorts of trouble. But I actually think Zoun is doing pretty good. And as long as he's got 1 or 2 storms remaining, I think he's going to be fine. Did lose the cybernetic score there towards the end. That means that he's not able to build any stalkers for a little bit. But he still has plenty of them. Look at Zoun blinking forward on creep. That might be pushing it a little bit, mate. That is actually pushing it a little bit now. Now the High Templars might be in a bit of a pickle too. As Reynor has already remaxed on way more roaches. He's got like 20 extra roaches showing up. Overseer gets sniped. I don't think that blink was quite it. He had a backup cyber. You're correct. Sorry. Did not see that. But he does indeed have a cybernetic score in the back of his main. I don't know about that final move though from Zoun. Because now we have way less units, and we obviously don't have those 6 High Templars that are full of energy anymore either. Reynor splits off 10 roaches or so, runs them deep into the main base, and this is where it becomes harder to micro to perfection as Zoun makes a mistake immediately. 3 High Templars run head first into the Roaches and the Ravages of Reynor. As Reynor is making justice rain from above with corrosive bow after corrosive bow. A couple of Stalkers get warped in on the right side, but things are starting to look real good. Are we allowed to get excited over the Reynor Serral? We're not quite there yet, but another Oracle falls. No more High Templars right now, 0. But 23 Stalkers. 23 Stalkers are still out. There's another High Templar gets warped in. I mean, it's going to be so hard for Zoun to get up to 4 bases anytime soon. Reynor, of course, working with +2 missile attacks as well. Spending every single penny he can get his hands on. Good job by Zoun, cancelling the cannon. Ravager count 14. 23 Roaches and 14 Ravagers as Reynor runs a couple of units deep into that Protoss army, hoping to activate a stasis trap. There was no stasis trap. I like how Zoun used hold position there, just to make sure that the corrosive bows landed on all the Stalkers. That was very nice of him. The gateway gets picked off. Couple of Immortals having a hard time figuring out when it is their time to shine. The Immortals mega strong against the Roaches, a little bit less good against the Ravagers. Reynor sees another High Templar, wants it, does not quite get it, gets it in the end with one Steph Curry. Ravager gets the Immortals as well. Stalkers now getting warped in the face of Reynor's units, right on the edge of creep. But Zoun is still hanging in there. This is really turning into a pretty freaking epic battle. There's another corrosive ball, tries to connect, lands, does not quite land. Jeez Louise, what a fight. What a fight. The fight has been going on for 3 minutes. 78 Roaches have died, 34 Ravagers have died. They're absolutely batting. A lot of the Stalkers are so freaking low on HP though, and there is no more energy in any of those shield batteries near the third. But Zoun does sort of push Reynor back for now. Just don't blink forward. You're not there yet. You cannot blink forward. Archons on creep. Just a sitting duck. I want to say I think Reynor has done it, but has he done it though? We do need extra units. Zoun still warping in Stalkers. Still has one Immortal to fall back to. No, it's upper bracket, so there is no tournament live on the line here. But it is an epic scrap. That it most certainly is. A 70 supply deficit. High Templar gets warped in, energy recharge, double storm immediately. Pretty big fat juicy storms, questionable blink if you ask me. Because there are a few too many Zerg units here. Those blinks you can only justify if you have overwhelming numbers, if you got the firepower to gun down these Roaches and Ravagers. And Zoun did not have that. GG gets called. Reynor gets revenge for the loss over at the RSL. And sets himself up for a rematch with his teammate. In just a little over an hour, maybe an hour and a half. Another edition, another chapter of Reynor versus Serral. That was indeed a very long fight. Over, I don't know, like 60, 70 Stalkers died in the end. Over 100 Roaches died. Having all that creep there just makes it so much more difficult for the Protoss to truly stabilize. Because Roach Ravager trades so much better on creep than it ever does off creep. Well done. Shame we didn't have player cameras for that. Obviously, if Zoun says he doesn't want a camera, Reynor has got the right to also say, like, hey, I don't want a camera either. If he has no camera, I don't want a camera. But I did enjoy that game. It was a fun one. And that means that we are done with the 4 best of 5s of the upper bracket. But we've got 2 more. Yes, most certainly.